Yeah, they're all coming. They're running, dude. Ducks. There are two of them running straight at ya. Come around the back here, dude.
Oh, they're behind me, aren't they?
Watch your right side.
Hostile deleted.
Yeah,
2
little bitch.
remaining.
Just coming through there, Dark, where you just... No, he's coming around the back here, dude. The back here. Turn around, Dark. Behind you. Dark behind you. He's coming just there, around there. Other guy's coming the same
Hostile
way.
erased. 1
Other guy
remaining.
coming the same way. Coming the same way. He's sitting there. He's just in front of the laptop.
Okay.
He's bitching. He's crouching. Yeah. I think he just seen you duck around. He's backing off. He's backing off. He's bitching. He's dead. Yeah, nice done.
Woo! Firewall Ultra for the PlayStation VR 2. Is it a good game? Should you buy it? Am I having fun with it? I have a head so full of thoughts right now. I'm tired today. I barely slept last night. I played the game for about 3 hours in the evening of launch day and then went to bed with a head full of thoughts, and I wanted to get them out and start making a video last night, but by the time I came away from the game it was already too late to sit down and start really putting it to paper and recording what I was thinking about the game. So I waited until this morning. I jumped back in and played the game for another 2 hours, which is why I've got these like PSVR red bits on my nose and a line on the top of my head, because I've been playing this morning for a couple of hours. And I'm now ready to kind of talk about the game in its current launch day state and talk about whether I'm having fun, what I think of the game, where I think it's doing things really right and where I think it's doing things really wrong. Because the honest truth is Firewall Ultra is a mixed bag right now. It has some exceptionally high highs and some exceptionally low lows. This is a game that VR enthusiasts are going to go into, and chances are they're going to be really confused with what they find. They're going to bounce off of its systems because it isn't built like a normal VR game. It doesn't embrace the things necessarily that make VR so special. Now, apologies in advance if this video is a bit rambly. I haven't scripted this. I just wanted to talk off the top of my head and make it as honest and free-flowing as possible, but that might mean it's a little bit juddery and jarring. To give it some structure, I'm going to bounce between pros and cons. I'm going to do a pro and then I'm going to do a con, and I'm going to work through it like that, put it into a video, and hopefully let you guys make a decision about whether you want to pick this game up or not. Let's get cracking. Let's start with a really easy pro. This game looks absolutely stunning. The details are impeccable, the maps and the environments look amazing, the lighting is on point, it oozes atmosphere, and it really sets the stage for some exciting firefights. I just love the way it looks. Visually, I have no complaints. From the details on the guns, the details on your hands, other players. They have some janky animations right now. I have noticed that, like when you're standing around in lobbies and you're chatting, often people's arms are like stretching. There's kind of a stretchy arm thing going on. But if you're just looking at the environments, the levels themselves, the lighting, the smoke effects, on one level in particular, I think it's the ship level or the oil rig, I can't tell what it is. You're going through the bowels of the ship and there's these red lights and they pick up the smoke and you kind of get heat waves from some vents and you're slowly moving through, and then when you get into a gunfight, the muzzle flash reflecting off the surfaces. This game looks amazing. I can't fault it for that. It looks absolutely stunning, and if it was just based on looks alone, I'd be like, yeah, pick this up right now because you're going to have a great time with it. But sadly, it's not based on looks alone. This isn't a beauty pageant. If it was, it would definitely win some prizes. But yeah, stunning looking game. Can't fault the visual aesthetic of Firewall. How much of this office do you think I can shoot and destroy, or is it all going to be like static? Okay, we can break the screens. Nothing else seems to break. It's all very static. I like breaking the screens though, that's nice. What is that? Is that something I can pick up? Priority mail? No, okay. On to the first negative. Now, this one will probably be resolved with time. I'm actually sure that it will, but right now, if you buy into the game, it is filled with launch teething problems. Bugs, jankiness, janky animations, and crashes have plagued my first 5 hours of playing this game. Yesterday on launch day, I crashed out of the game 4 times, and these were hard crashes back to the PlayStation home screen, the PlayStation menu. One of the crashes was actually so bad I was in the middle of a firefight and the whole screen kind of warped and froze, and I was just locked in the game. It looked messed up. It was horrible. I had to kind of exit out of it manually. Up top, yellow building.
Yeah. How do you...
No. Finally get into a good game and it dies on me again. Oh my god. I'm going to throw the PlayStation out the window. There's also a plethora of bugs. Animations not quite working the way they should. On occasion I've swapped my gun to my left hand when I've been trying to two-hand it, and then I can't swap it back to my right hand. Menus appearing floating in the air, so like your end of match breakdowns, they're either 50 foot up in the sky well above you, or they're behind you. There's a lot of bugs right now and a lot of general jankiness. I mentioned it in the visuals, which was pro, but animations don't look slick. Your arms stretch out, often people's arms are going through themselves, or they're all kind of aligned on one side. There's quite a funny one, but the characters, when they're dead, they kind of twerk on the floor. It's kind of funny. Leave that in. That's pretty cool. But the game is packed right now with bugs, jankiness, and crashes. And these things will need to be resolved because it did impact my experience yesterday, launch day. It impacted me less today, so that's already a positive. But if it continues, it could be enough to make people stop coming back. So yeah, it's janky right now.
The game's like if you're a Pavlov player,
yeah.
Pavlov is this game's gun mechanics are janky as hell.
It's crazy, isn't it, man?
Yeah. Pavlov's just graphics on this game better.
Yeah.
But Pavlov gunplay heaps better.
Yeah. On to another pro. The PvP matches themselves. When you get in to a full lobby 4v4, they are so good. It's so tense. I haven't had many experiences like this in VR with tactical shooters that really nail the feeling of a tactical shooter. Like, I've played plenty of good flat screen shooters. Ready or Not, Call of Duty games, Rainbow Six Vegas, you name it, I've probably played it. I play a lot of Hunt Showdown, which is a very slow-paced shooter. I've played over 1,000 hours of that game. And in a way, this reminds me a little bit of that. You do have to take it a bit slower. You have to think about whether you're going to crouch or sprint in, because they can hear your footsteps. Sneaking around the back of a team is a completely valid tactic, and taking them out. I've done that a few times. When you're in a match that's evenly balanced, and I've been in a lot. Right now, the servers are fairly evenly balanced. No one's wiping the floor with anyone else. I must admit, I have been top killer on the scoreboard for most of the matches I've played, but these matches feel evenly balanced, they feel tense, they feel atmospheric, and when it works, it feels really good. There's a reason I've played almost 5 hours of the game already. It's obviously doing something right because I'm wanting to play more. So when it works, when you get into a game, the PvP element is a lot of fun. There we go, got around the back of him.
Another one down, one remaining.
Here he is. Hide in the corner. Coming off the back of that though, another negative is the fact that right now, leveling up, getting new gear, new toys to play with, new contractors to play with, feels almost unattainable. It is going to be an absolute grind to get hold of anything new, unless you bought the deluxe edition, which came with some additional contractors, weapons and attachments. I bought the standard edition, so I paid $34.99 for the standard edition of the game. I basically have one assault rifle, one pistol, frag grenades and flash grenades, 2 contractors, and that's it. For me to get something new, it is going to take a long time. So after about 5 hours of play, I've earned 14,000 in cryptocurrency. That's one of the currencies in the game. Now, the cheapest gun I could find was about 100,000. The cheapest contractor, or all the contractors, cost 150,000 to unlock. So 5 hours of play has got me, maybe 10% of the way to a new gun. So you're going to have to put some time in to get new guns. The thing that really troubles me though is the attachments. So a lot of the attachments, like torches, laser sights, suppressors, different grenades, they cost reputation points, and you get those by leveling up. In 5 hours of play, I'm level 2, so I have 2 reputation points to spend. A torch for my gun costs 23 reputation points. That is going to take me forever to get, and a lot of these levels are painfully dark. If you don't have a torch, you're just walking blind, you're walking into the blackness, and it makes playing those levels kind of not fun. Frustrating because you can't see where you're going, often you're running into things. If you bought the deluxe edition, you got a torch. A torch came with it, so you're already set. But if you didn't, if you bought the standard, you're punished and you have to wait a long time. The leveling up system feels lengthy, it feels like a grind. And you can buy contractors. They cost 500 of a real world currency, which costs £4, 4 English pounds to buy. So it feels like it's geared towards making you spend real money if you want new contractors. And leveling up right now feels like a slog. 5 hours, I've not got anything to show for it. No new guns, no new attachments, nothing. Still using the same assault rifle, pistol, grenade, and flashbang. That's pretty rough for a multiplayer only, online only game where your only real draw is to upgrade and get better shit.
Okay, so this is where you buy goodies, you buy different guns and attachments for your guns, but it all seems to cost quite a bit. So I've currently got 1 R, so whatever R is in terms of currency, and then 2,250 C or credits. And most of this stuff seems to cost, way more than I have. So a suppressor is 39R, flashlight is 23R. That's really important as well. The last game I played was in a very dark map. I couldn't see anything basically. So you kind of really need that. But then the trade-off, I guess, is that other players can see your flashlight. So, okay, bit of a risk-reward thing there.
Back to the positives. Now, this positive and negative bounce I'm about to do is probably the one that's going to get the most attention from people. The positive is Firewall Ultra is a far more casual VR experience. It's an easy entryway for people who aren't used to playing VR games. I played yesterday standing for about 2 hours and then realised that I was being an idiot because this game is not built like a normal VR game. There's no benefit to playing this game standing because your real world movements and stature don't really translate into the game, not properly anyway. Almost everything in this game is done with a button press. Crouching, opening doors, reloading, going into ADS, grabbing your gun obviously, interacting with items. It's all a button press. There's no real physical mirroring of your own body in the VR game. There's no manual reloading, not yet anyway. It's being added later in a hardcore mode. It feels more like a flat screen game. A flat screen game that you just so happen to be playing with a VR headset on your head. And I'm actually a bit of a ambassador for that kind of thing. I think we do need more games that kind of bridge the gap between flat games and full-blown VR physical experiences. We need these midway games that help people who aren't used to playing VR understand the draw of it and then slowly transition into things a lot more physical, like Pavlov, that are a lot more intense and require you to physically move around in your space, crouching, reloading, etc, etc. Firewall Ultra isn't that. It is a much more casual VR game that almost neglects what makes VR so special. Which brings me on to the negative point.
One of the coolest things about VR is if you are faster at manually reloading a gun, you're going to be able to outplay other players. You have to physically get better at the game. But this is built around systems that kind of give everyone the same tools to operate within. You can still be better, no doubt, but like this grenade system means I don't have to physically throw anything with an overarm throw and maybe get it wrong. Like I'm just pointing with my eyes and letting go of a trigger. It's strange. It's strange.
Now the negative is kind of also the positive. It depends who you are and how you view a game like this. Firewall Ultra is almost completely at odds with everything that makes VR so cool. So cool for me anyway. I'm still having a lot of fun playing it, and I've pumped, as I say, 5 hours in already, and I keep going back to it. And even right now, I'm thinking, I want to jump on and play a few more rounds, but that's probably because I still play a lot of flat screen games, and this feels like a flat screen shooter. It feels like the old days when I used to play a lot of Rainbow Six. It doesn't feel like a Pavlov. It doesn't feel like a Contractors or, you know, any of the existing VR franchises, FPS franchises. It doesn't feel like those. You can't physically throw a grenade. You can't physically reload your gun. It's such an odd experience. There's two ways that you can go into ADS. You can hold L1 and just grip your gun, and then you've got free movement to move it around, bring it up to your eye. Or you can press L2 and the gun basically snaps straight to your eye. It's like going ADS in a flat game. You can't physically open a door. You can't physically plant a mine on the wall. You just press a button. It's all button presses. It hasn't embraced what makes VR so special, and in a way that's cool because you've got this even playing field. Everyone's level of skill is tied into the same systems. You're not going to be better because you're quicker at moving around your room and ducking and rolling and embracing those aspects of VR. You're not going to be better because you are more attuned with what makes VR so cool. Everyone's on that level playing field, playing with the same systems, using the same buttons. The reloads take the same amount of time. Doesn't matter who you are because it's an animation. So in that regard, it's kind of cool, but a lot of people will bounce off of this. VR enthusiasts will bounce off of it because it doesn't feel like a VR game. You have to be open to embrace what it's doing. And what it's doing is different. It in a way, is flying in the face of years of VR innovation to get to a point where we feel fully immersed in an FPS.
Now, be a darling and get
Wait,
into the file.
where are my teammates? Why is it only me and you?
Find that laptop and don't dally with the hack. In, out, and back home for supper.
Where did everyone else go?
Just you. Trying to find that ruthless streak of the first half. Hostile retired. 3 remaining.
1v3. How is that fair?
Hostile deleted. 2 remaining.
My god.
Hostile erased. 1 remaining.
Oh, we traded. No way.
Back to the pros, the maps themselves are absolutely fantastic. They're varied, they all look amazing, they're all fun to navigate through, and they have the right amount of different approaches on different levels and floors to kind of give you different ways to approach it every single time you play. I don't think I've played a match yet that's played out the same as a previous match on the same level. Now, I did mention that some of these maps are exceptionally dark. That is probably the only negative thing. If you bought the deluxe edition, you're going in with a torch so you can see where you're going, but if you bought standard edition like me, you can't see shit until you get to about level 23, which is going to take you, oh my god, maybe 50, 60 hours of play, who knows. It's going to take you a long time to get to that point. But the levels are varied. There are some outdoor ones that are really bright, middle of the day, and they look good. And as I say, they've got lots of cool through paths. They feel like old school Call of Duty maps. They're really well designed, they're really balanced, and they're a lot of fun. You always have another opportunity. You've always got another path to tackle something. If you think that the enemy team have got the objective locked down, there's a way around it. There's a way to get behind them, take them out from behind, sneak in from the side. There's ways to approach things on every map that you might not necessarily see immediately. If you go looking for it, there's always going to be a different way. You're not funneled to one place, and that's a really good thing for an objective-based 4v4 tactical shooter. The maps are well made, and I've enjoyed all of them so far, except for the darkness aspect.
As soon as you go around, he's right there, he's fighting. Got him. Nice.
Jeez, good job, man. Sneaky bugger.
I'm watching the cameras, that's the least I can do is try to watch the cameras.
Right, I think that's all of them done.
That's all of them, I think. It's just,
There it
hack the
is.
lap.
Activate the laptop like it's
Oh!
Oh, fuck! Oh, they booby trapped her.
Oh!
Yep. Dark, it should be alright now.
That's so scary.
It should be alright now.
Oh my
I couldn't see. I'm not
God.
going on the backside, so I couldn't see, but they bootstrapped it.
A bit noisy for my taste.
Done,
but
nicely done, Bart.
Payments have been taken
Oh
care of.
man, I'm so glad I didn't come up with you guys. That would have been tragic. Switching back over to the negatives, the menus are straight garbage. It's a confusing game to navigate. It's a confusing game to figure out where you're supposed to go and what you're supposed to do to progress yourself. This kind of links back to the leveling up point, but I open the menus and it's never super clear where I can go to change my loadouts. And even when I get to the section where I can change my loadout, there's nothing there that says I can change my loadout or I can change my primary. And I think that is simply because I bought the standard edition and I do not have any other options. I don't have any other guns. So I'm locked into using this one specific handgun and assault rifle. So it's a bit frustrating, but even just getting to those menus feels confusing. There's a shop system that you can go to buy items, but I only just figured out this morning that you can cycle through 4 different vendors who all have different items to buy. It isn't explained to you particularly well. There's also things that seem locked, and I don't know why. I don't know when that stuff's coming on. Assignments, which I assume is a way to level up quicker by completing objectives. That's what I would assume on it being called assignments. That seems to be locked. Is that just for me? The people who bought Deluxe Edition have access to that? The menus are overwhelming, they're not clean, they don't show you an easy path through to where you want to be. I watched some streams last night of other VR creators playing, and I watched them kind of bumbling around and trying to figure out where they go to get into a PvP game, and it wasn't their fault, it just isn't intuitive. They were jumping into private lobbies and playing on their own with no one to shoot, and they didn't know where to go. And that's because the game and the menus aren't clear enough, they're not clean enough, they don't point you in the right direction, and it is frustrating, again, especially when this is a game where the only real objective other than winning your games is to unlock better stuff, get better loadouts, and make yourself feel better, have better guns to play with, new toys to play with. It feels unclear how to get to that point right now, and that's frustrating. It's left me frustrated. What's going on here? Flashbang. Close my eyes. Okay, so that didn't do anything to me. I closed my eyes when the flashbang went off and I didn't really feel the effects of the flashbang. What happens if I don't close my eyes? Let's keep my eyes open this time.
Close your eyes.
Oh my god, I'm blind. Okay, wow. That lasts for quite a while. Right, that's going to take some getting used to. I think we've got time for one more pro, and then I'll just sum up my overall thoughts of Firewall Ultra in its entirety. The final thing I wanted to call out in a positive way, though, is this game does have great implementation of PSVR 2 centric features. Haptics in the face, haptics in the hands, the resistive triggers, the eye tracking, which I think for some has been a bit of a point of contention, but for me, I'm really getting used to it. It feels strange, but effectively, when you want to throw a grenade, you hold R2, you get an aiming arc, and then you look with your eyes, and wherever your eyes look is where the grenade's going to go, and then you let go, and it throws it with an animation. Again, it's very at odds with everything that makes VR so cool. It doesn't feel like a VR interaction, you know? I know people would have wanted to throw that grenade. Even if you still had the arc, but you had to do the throwing motion, I think that would have been a better compromise. But I do like the way that eye tracking works in that scenario. It's enabled me to, now that I've got used to it, throw some grenades pretty accurately on the fly, and nail some good throws that I probably wouldn't have been able to nail if I had to physically throw. Throwing in VR games does kind of suck. I don't think many games have got it right, but I think with a aiming arc and then a throwing motion combination, could have been better. The eye tracking is also fantastic for flashbangs, and you get a sense of real brightness and overwhelming intensity when you've got muzzle flashes going off near you as well, especially in the dark levels and the dark areas. But the flashbangs in particular are super special. A flashbang rolls out. If you don't close your eyes before it goes off or whilst it goes off, you are blinded for probably upwards of nearly 10 seconds, and it really impacts the way you play. The screen goes blurry, it's white for a bit. Same for smoke grenades. When you're in a smoke grenade, the screen is basically pitch black, it's dark. So using the eye tracking in that way is super special, and I want to see more games utilize those features, because hearing the flashbang come and then going ah and closing your eyes and dodging the effects of it, that's super cool. And that's probably the closest the game gets to realizing why VR is amazing and why these features are so special to players who love the medium. Everything else is a little bit in odds with it, and yeah, I guess that brings me to my final sum up. Firewall Ultra is currently a game of two very different halves. On the one hand, when it works, it's so much fun. When I'm in a full lobby and we're bouncing from game to game, round to round, I just want to stay in there. I want to stay in there playing more and more because I really enjoy the gameplay loop. And if you're with a group of people who are friendly enough and chatty enough, it's even better. And I have met some amazing people in there already, so the community are engaged, they're fun to talk to, and it's a friendly bunch of people so far. On the other hand, this game currently has so much going against it that I could completely understand if a big portion of the VR community just walk away from it, especially for now and maybe come back in time. It doesn't feel like a traditional VR game. It is working against all the things that make VR so special. It is a more casual experience. Those looking for a Pavlov will be sorely disappointed. You will not find that here. It's currently crashing a lot. There are bugs, there are issues. I'm sure they'll be worked out, but it's buggy, it's janky. Yesterday on launch day, I think I spent more time waiting for a game to start than actually playing games. It's a good job that people are friendly because we just sat in the lobbies and chatted whilst knifing each other. That's all you can really do in between games. So it was taking a long time. Today is better, but the wait times have been painful. Button presses for everything will turn some people off. It just feels so at odds with everything that makes VR cool. Opening doors, reloading guns, it's all a button press, it's all L1. Doesn't feel natural, it takes some getting used to. You do have to open your mind to this being a more casual VR game. And leveling up and systems and progression all feel wrong right now. They don't feel right, they don't feel correctly balanced, they feel like too much of a grind. It feels like it's going to take you hundreds of hours to get even the most basic new loadout, especially if you didn't buy the deluxe edition. And if you want new contractors, realistically you're going to have to spend cash. You're going to have to spend £4 on each contractor you want to buy. The contractors, I do believe, come with different loadouts. I could be wrong there. That might be how you end up getting better stuff. I can't see what the benefit would be in having a different contractor if they didn't have different loadouts. It's just a skin then. Maybe it is just a skin. And they cost around £4 each. The progression, the leveling up feels wrong. The menus feel messy. There's a lot of bad, but there is some good. When it works, it's a lot of fun. And hopefully some of the clips I've shown you today have shown you that. All I wanted to do in this video is help give you a balanced opinion of the game on launch. It's going to change, it's going to grow, it's going to get better, I'm sure of all that. But right now, these are my honest opinions. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I really like it. But it annoys the shit out of me in other elements and aspects. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, please do leave a like, leave a comment, hit subscribe. Firewall Ultra is out now. 2 different versions. $34.99 UK currency for the standard edition. But that doesn't come with any additional contractors, guns, or the torch, which is really important in those dark levels. And then there's a deluxe edition for £50 that does come with that stuff. It's up to you, make the choice. I'm having fun, but I'm accepting a lot of things. Take care, guys. I'll see you soon for another one. Peace out.
Thanks.
Oh, sticky grenade on your head. Oh, bro. Oh, no, that wasn't good.
3 remaining.
What a throw.
Shit.
They put a sticky grenade on his head.